My heart is beating so loudly in my chest, it's almost deafening. My throat is dry, my hands are cold and clammy, my knees are wobbly. Yes, I am the perfect picture of nervousness. And then I heard that familiar voice, firmly, clearly telling me that the track is clear for me to go. And just like that, nervousness is gone. It's go time, baby. I take my place on the push bar. My brake man counts us down. Ready, set, go. We lunge forward, muscles bulging and contracting, feet digging and turning. And I am pushing. I am pushing, and I know I have to keep on pushing because my goal is to get to maximum speed in as short a time as possible. And even as I'm heading down the track, in a real way, I'm still pushing. I'm pushing against the ice conditions, the weather conditions. I'm pushing against the twists and turns of the track. And I'm also pushing against the limits of my own abilities. I am trying to do better than what I did previously. Now, this is an experience I've had over and over again. From the very first time I crawled in a sled behind my driver, a guy who had no clue as to what was happening. This was back in October of 1987 in Calgary. To the last time I drove a sled competitively in my third Olympic Games, Nagano, Japan, February 1988. And I have to say that I am so grateful for these experiences because they have taught me that in order to succeed, whether on the bobsled track at the Olympic Games or the bobsled track in life, you have to keep on pushing. You have to keep on pushing. And as I've examined this idea, this philosophy of keep on pushing, I've come to realize that there's a distinct parallel with the success journey of life. You see, like the bobsled track, it's fluid, not static. It's progressive. It has expectations that you're going to grow, you're going to get better, you're going to go from one level to the next. That does not sound like life to you. That is the journey of life, right? It is this dynamic, ever-changing process through which we transform ourselves as well as our organizations and the people around us. Now, before I share some ideas with you about how you can keep on pushing, let me tell you about 3 different kinds of people. I wrote about them in my book. The first, the non-starters. In life, these are the people who refuse to turn up at the start, right? By that I mean they refuse to set goals. They just kind of go along with the flow. They see their current situation as their lot in life. And so they make themselves comfortable because thinking outside of that zone of comfort, comfort zone, all they can think about is how challenging life is. So they become crippled by fear. They fear losing the business. They fear getting passed over for a promotion. Fear getting hurt in a relationship. If it can go wrong, it scares them to death. And so this fear of failure means that they don't try. Not recognizing that by failing to try, you've embraced failure. And as a result, they have abandoned the promise that life has for all of us. Then there are the joggers. The joggers do take to the start, but instead of pushing with all their might, as their name suggests, they jog. Their grand strategy? Play it safe. They surmise that if they leave the top of the track with less speed, then they reduce the risk of crashing. In other words, they don't fully commit to their goals because with that reduced commitment, they think they lessen the risk of failing. They don't realize that the track doesn't care. Life doesn't care. Each corner up ahead is still perilous. Obstacles are inevitable and they're just going to pop up, man. And so you still, in order to give yourself the best chance to win, you need to be committed. But no, this lack of commitment shows up everywhere in their life. Their efforts are half-hearted, right? They are lackadaisical in the way they do business and the way they approach their jobs. They are indifferent in their relationships. They do nothing to grow, to get more knowledge, to improve their skills or learn new skills, right? And so when things go wrong, as it inevitably will, their attitude is, well, at least we tried. And so they relegate themselves and their lives to one of mediocrity. Then there are the pushers, the studs, the people like you, right? They approach life with a balls to the wall kind of attitude, right? They are committed, completely committed to a lifetime of growth and development. Unlike the non-starters and the joggers, who are always taking an inventory of their limitations, pushers don't see the so-called disadvantages, their ethnicity or race or gender or whatever, the kind of labels that society tend to place on us. They don't see that as an hindrance. They are always looking around and looking up to people who have succeeded despite those labels and see that kind of success as proof positive that they too can succeed. And so they are possibility thinkers. They are forever curious about what it is that they could possibly accomplish if they launch. And so they do just that. They engage in this relentless pursuit to reach their full potential. And so they keep on pushing. How do they do that? How can you do that? Well, 3 ideas quickly. 1, choose your goals, choose them carefully. In order to make the most of this crazy, amazing ride that we call life, you need to have goals. You absolutely need to have goals. They guide you and they act as a conduit for your energies and your abilities, right? They get you to push beyond your comfort zone. They get you to push past your perceived limitations, engaging your subconscious mind, and hence creating and attracting the people and the circumstances that you need in order to achieve them. Let me caution you though, make sure that you're pursuing goals that you truly want, goals that are important to you, not the ones that people impose or impress upon you, because believe it or not, that could turn you into a jogger, man. You won't be really committed to achieving them. You want to be a pusher, right? You want to be a pusher. That means you should choose goals, the attainment of which will give your life purpose and meaning, because now that becomes a fire in your belly. It becomes your motivation. It creates an impetus for you to push past all the obstacles that are going to be in your way. So choose your goals carefully. Number 2, pursue excellence, not perfection. Pursue excellence, not perfection. As a reformed perfectionist, I describe myself that way at times. I totally get it. I understand the allure. I understand the desire to want to be perfect, because perfectionism, my friends, really motivates you to work hard, right? You want to achieve this thing and you want nothing less, you'll accept nothing less, so you work hard. Harder than normal. The drawback is that you can never truly be perfect, right? You could move a mountain and perfection will go, yeah, that's nice, but the mountain could have been taller, or you could have moved it a little bit further, things will never always go as planned. And if you have a perfectionist mindset, when you miss the mark, even by a little bit, it will crush you. And I know this because it's a lesson that was taught to me many years ago back in high school. And I say taught because I don't think I fully grasped. I didn't really learn the lesson until many years later. And I will spare you the details because of time. But just know, as I said earlier, things will never always go as planned. And you can never know for sure if you would succeed unless you go all the way to the end. You have to push all the way to the end. When you have a perfectionist mindset and things start to go awry, you throw your hands in the air. So be excellent, my friends. Work hard, give off your absolute best every single time. There's millions, literally millions of stories of success, victory being snatched from the jaws of defeat, certain defeat. And it's not because of perfectionism, it's because somebody was excellent. They were giving of their absolute best. You can do that. You can give off your best every single time, can never truly be perfect. And then, thirdly, be persistent. Every success story is underpinned by persistence. Every successful endeavor is built on a pillar of persistence. The thing you have to recognize is that life is going to test you. Life will, without apology, test your commitment to you achieving your goals. Your ability to persist, your ability to keep on pushing, well, that's the answer, my friends. That's the answer that life is looking for. Yes, we know things are going to go wrong. There are always going to be obstacles. You have to be able to work through those. You can never go from where you are to where you want to be in one fell swoop. Otherwise, everybody would have done it. It's going to be a challenge, and you have to figure a way to endure in the face of all difficulties. You have to develop the ability, you have to be tough mentally, you have to be resilient to really go just for the next little while, the next 10 minutes, the next hour, the next day, the next week, and so on and so forth, right? That's how you start to build up those persistent muscles. Word of warning though, you need some wisdom, right? When it comes to persistence. It's not just about doing the same thing over and over and not quitting. Yes, persistence is about not quitting on the goal. But every now and again, you're going to have to quit on the strategy, right? You need the wisdom. You have to be wise enough and flexible enough to know when you need to adapt or change the strategy, the plan, the tactics, choose your words, in order to get to your goals. It doesn't make the process any easier, but it certainly makes it far more likely. So that's what you do. You persist. You keep on pushing. I leave you with this one final thought, a quote from the master himself, Bruce Lee, who says, "The duty and function of a quality human being is a sincere and honest development of one's potential." In a nutshell, keep on pushing. Keep on pushing in order to grow, in order to expand, in order to take your game to the next level. That, in my mind, is the epitome of the success journey in life. So, keep on pushing.